The Classy Bow sweater includes a full video tutorial and helpful picture aids to guide you through the timeless design. Worked top down with no seams, it's easy to try on as you go to check the fit. A cozy mock neck, slightly fitted hem, mid-forearm ribbed cuffs, and two contrasting bows on the front create the elevated look of this classy sweater. This is a Lion Brand yarn kit, so you can get all of the yarn to make this, plus the pattern to go with it. Best part about Lion Brand yarn kits is that you can customize the yarn color. You can get the Lion Brand yarn kit right here. These are the materials needed for the Classy Bow sweater. You're going to need Lion Brand Wool Ease yarn. This is the color Icicle, which is color A and what the main body of the sweater will be made in. This is the complementary color, Woolies as well. It's in the color Fisherman, and this is color B and what we will be using for the bow. You're also going to need two different needle sizes. This is the size 4.5 millimeter needles. So the US 7 4.5 millimeter needles. And then this is the 5.0 millimeter needles, size 8. And you're going to need a 16-inch cord and then a 32-inch cord. So these are interchangeable needles, and so the pattern asks for the 4.5 millimeter needles to be on the 32-inch cord as well. You'll also need waste yarn or stitch holders. I like using these because it makes it really easy to pop it on your needle, pull it through, and it makes it a lot quicker than having waste yarn. So I like using this for my stitch holders. You'll also need stitch markers, tapestry needle, and then scissors. This pattern is written for 9 sizes, extra small through 5X, and I suggest highlighting your size throughout the pattern for ease of reading. The model in the pictures is wearing a size medium with a 38-inch bust and about 1.75 to 2.25 positive ease in this pattern. I don't have these attached right now, so I can show you the pattern a little bit better. This is where I'm going to attach them though. But the sweater is worked top down with a mock neck collar. Then there's the yoke, splitting for the sleeves and putting the sleeve stitches on hold, then working the main body, and then the waist hem ribbing. Sleeves are picked back up and then worked in the round. And then the cuff ribbing starts at about mid forearm. There are 4 increase sections evenly spaced in the yoke, and then twisted ribbing is used for the collar, the waist hem, and the cuffs. And then for some sizes, increases are worked this last row right here to get ready for the waist hem. And then check your sleeve length for your size. The underarm ease will make it lower for the underarm, making less sleeve length needed. Decreases are worked at the beginning of the sleeve cuff to get ready for the sleeve cuff ribbing. And then 2 bows are made in a contrasting color and attached to the front. I just don't have them attached right now because I wanted to show you those details of the sweater. And a reminder, this video is just a supplemental video showing how to make this sweater, but you really need to have the written pattern up next to you to make this sweater. So you can either get the free pattern on my blog, the Lion Brand yarn kit that includes the pattern as well as the yarn to make the sweater, or you can buy my premium PDF version. To begin the project, you're going to need your 4.5 millimeter knitting needles, and you're going to be able to do it probably on the shorter ones, but I'm going to be making a small little sample size of the sweater today, so I'm going to need to do the magic loop method. So don't let that confuse you. You'll be able to have fit the stitches on your shorter needles, or at least you should be able to. So I measured out where I need to start casting on. I'm doing the long tail cast on. So I made a slip knot and I'm ready to cast on my stitches. 1, 2, 3. So I did 16 cast on. You're going to look to the pattern to your size to figure out how many stitches you need to cast on. We will now join in the round. So put your slip marker on to indicate the beginning of the round. And then I am doing the magic loop, but you're just going to go into that first stitch on your left needle. And you're going to go through the back loop. And that's our twisted rib that we're going to be doing. So through the back loop and then purl. Again, turn your needle so you can see the back loop and then knit through the back loop and purl. We're going to do that all the way around, and then I'll show you what round 2 looks like. So I made it to my stitch marker. I'm ready to do round 2. Round 2 is the exact same thing, you just don't have to join. So you're going to knit through the back loop for your knit stitches and then purl through the purl stitches. And you're going to do this for 18 rounds total. And then let's meet back up for the yoke section where we will switch to 5.0 millimeter knitting needles, and then I will show you how to start doing the increases. Here is my mini little mock neck. You can see the ribbing, the twisted ribbing, but I wanted to show you what it looks like on the actual sweater so you can get a visual. This is what it looks like on the actual sweater. So you can see it swoops in because we used our smaller needles. And now we're to the portion where we're going to switch needles, do 1 round of knit, and then do an increase round. I already switched my needles to the 5.0 millimeter needles, and now I'm going to just knit regularly, so not through the back loop. Do 1 round of knit, and then I'm going to show you how to do the left lifted increase. All right, I have 1 more stitch that completes round 1 for the yoke, and now we're going to knit 2 and then do a left lifted increase. So there's my first knit, my second knit stitch, and now let's do the left lifted increase. I have a full video tutorial on more details of how to do a left lifted increase, so if you want to see that, you can view it right here. But what you do, this is the loop on my hook, this is the stitch 1 below, and this is the stitch 2 below. So we're going to be working through this stitch right here to be able to get our increase. So you need to pick up the left loop of that stitch from going back to front, put it on your needle, your left needle, and then you're going to knit it through the back loop. And that is what a left lifted increase looks like. So that is the repeat for this section. Knit 1, knit 2, and then the left lifted increase. Grab that left leg there like this and knit through the back loop. Knit 1, 2, pick up that left leg front back to front, 2 rows below, knit through the back loop. 1, 2, and then you pick up that leg 2 rows below. You can see it right here. It's kind of tricky to see because this is the middle section of my magic loop. I am switching needles right there, but that's okay. All right, so there's another left lifted increase. 1, 2, looking 2 rows below, grab that left leg, knit through the back loop. 1, 2, left lifted increase. 1, 2, left lifted increase, and the last one for me, 1, 2, and increase. Now you're just going to have some straight knitting rounds. Depending on your size, will determine how many rounds you have that you need to knit before your second increase. The second increase is going to be worked the same way as our first increase, which is knit 2 and then left lifted increase, knit 2, left lifted increase. So work straight in the pattern and then do that. The third increase is going to be knit 3 and then left lifted increase. And that is the repeat. And then the fourth and final increase for the yoke is going to be knit 4, left lifted increase. So as long as you know how to do a left lifted increase, then you should be fine for the yoke section. And so let's meet back up for the main body where we will put sleeve stitches on hold and learn how to do the backwards loop cast on. We're at the point of the pattern where we're going to put the sleeve stitches on hold, do a backwards cast on, backwards loop cast on, knit front part, front body, then put the sleeve stitches on hold and do another backwards cast on, knit the back. So we're going to be working in sections here. Since I did a small sample, I wanted to make sure that I marked out my sections correctly. So I just did 15, but look at the pattern for how many stitches you need to put on hold. So the first section is the sleeve section you'll be putting on hold. This is the back or the front, another sleeve, and then the back. To begin, we need to put these stitches on hold. I like doing these stitch holders, but you can do scrap yarn, you can do dental floss, you can do whatever you find to be the easiest. So there, my sleeve stitches are on hold. So now we need to do a backwards loop cast on to connect the back to the front and make the underarm. To do a backwards loop cast on, you're going to hold the strand in your left hand, wrap it, go behind the strand, wrap around your thumb, so it looks like that, and then you take your right needle, slip it through that loop there, and place it on the needle. Again, going around the strand and placing it on your needle. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just doing 5 for my small sample. You need to make sure that they don't twist, and then you're ready to knit that other side. So this right here, I'm knitting now. I'm going to knit all the way around until I've done the specified stitches in the pattern, or for me, when I hit my stitch marker. So this is the front portion of the sweater. And here is my next section that I need to put on hold because it's the sleeves. So grabbing another stitch holder, I'm just going to slip these on. There are my sleeve stitches on hold. So now I need to do my backwards loop cast on again. So again, I did 5 for my small sample. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm ready to knit this other needle. And then I'm going to knit. So this is now the back panel or the back of the sweater that I'm knitting. So continuing all the way around until I reach my stitch marker here. that will signify the end of this round. So there is the end of round 1. For the rest of the main body, you're just going to knit straight around. So this is my backwards loop cast on that I'm knitting into. So you just treat it like normal stitches and knit them like normal. And you ignore those sleeve stitches because they are on hold. And we will pick that up later and work the sleeves later. Let me show you the backwards loop cast on again. All right, here is our second sleeve that we put on hold and our backwards loop cast on. And I'm treating each loop cast on as a stitch and knitting into them. One thing to note is that some of the sizes, when you get to the waist hem, you will have to knit 2 together to get the correct stitch count that's needed for the waist hem. So let me make the body and then I will show you how to do the waist hem. It's the same that we did for the mock neck by doing knit through the back loop and purl, but I will show you that down at the end. So I'm going to do that off camera and let's meet back up for that. We've now made it to the waist hem of the sweater. And so, like I said, some sizes do need to knit 2 together or they need to do a left lifted increase. So let me show you how to do that on my small sample here. So we already know how to do a left lifted increase. So I'm not going to show you again how to do that, but let me show you how to knit 2 together. So to do this decrease, you insert your needle under 2 stitches at the same time and you knit as if they're one, and that decreases it. So let me show you how to do that again. You insert your needle under 2 stitches as if they're one and you knit. And that is a knit 2 together. I forgot to mention, I switched out my needle to a 4.5 millimeter needle for this round because it's good to do a size smaller than the main body for the ribbing to get clean, neat ribbing. So you work 1 round of knit or left lifted increase in the repeat that it specifies for your size in the pattern, and then you have your knit through the back loop purl repeat. So let me finish this side and then we'll just get started on that together, even though we've done that together. All right, so here is round 2. The first stitch you're going to knit through the back loop. And I have my magic loop method, so let me situate my needles to show you the next stitch to do. And then after you do knit through the back loop, you're going to purl. Again, knit through the back loop, purl, knit through the back loop, and purl. You'll just repeat this all the way around, and then you're going to do this for a total of 28 rounds. And then after you've bound off, then you're going to do the sleeves. You'll pick up the sleeves individually, and let's go over that section together. So let's meet back up for the sleeves. Let's do a sleeve together. So I've put my placeholder stitch holders back onto my needle, and I'm going to get my stitches back on there. And I have switched my needles out, so it's 5.0 millimeter needles for the sleeves. And so you're going to be doing the magic loop or using double pointed needles to do the small circumference of the sleeve. You're going to need 3 stitch markers for this pickup, so if you want to get that ready. And then let's take a look at these underarm stitches. So these underarm stitches, if you remember, I did 5 that I picked up, or I did 5 backward loop cast-ons. So we have 5 stitches right here I need to pick up, but we're gonna do an additional stitch pickup right here and here, because when you do a top-down sweater, you usually get gapping or a hole in the underarm from the live stitches to what you're picking up. And so we're going to pick up extra stitches, and then the next round we will do decreases right here to help cinch it in and lessen that gapping. So if you look at the live stitches, you can see my last live stitch is right here, and you can see the column it's worked into. If you go to the left and follow it up, this is where we're going to pick up our first extra stitch at the top of the column next to that live stitch. So I'm going to insert my needle into that stitch there, pick up a stitch. Oh, I forgot to place a stitch marker. So before picking up that stitch, you need to place a stitch marker, and then I need to pick up my 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to do the other side of my magic loop. And 5. Let me get that tail out of the way there. So rotating your work this way so you can look at the last live stitch on this side, you can see the column. So if you go one column over, you can see, you follow it up, and right here is where we're going to pick up the extra stitch, but that is only 1 loop and we need 2, so I'm going to go right here to pick up that extra stitch. And I forgot to place a stitch marker again. So I'm placing 1 stitch marker before each pickup, extra stitch pickup. And then you also need to do a stitch marker in the middle of the underarm, indicating the beginning of the round. So 1, 2, 3, right here is my beginning of round. So this is my beginning of round stitch marker, and then my 2 extra stitch markers. Now for round 1, I need to knit until 1 stitch before the first stitch marker. So my first stitch marker, and then this is my 1 stitch before the marker, and so I need to knit the 1 stitch before the stitch marker and the next stitch together by doing a knit 2 together. So treating them as 1 stitch, knit 2 together, and then you knit to the end of the round. So this is the end of the round marker right there. Then I will knit to the first marker and do a slip, slip, knit. Slip, slip, and knit through the back loop. And there you go. Now we have the correct number of stitches for our sleeves because we did our 2 decreases. So you're going to continue knitting around for 74 rounds. And then you do the cuff. Make sure you switch to the 4.5 millimeter needles for the cuff. And then it's the same thing that we've done for the collar and the hem, which the ribbing is knit through the back loop and then purl. And that's the repeat. So knit 1 through the back loop and then purl, knit 1 through the back loop and purl. And then you'll need to repeat for the other sleeve, picking up 1 extra stitch on each side of the underarm like I just showed you. So I'm going to do the rest off camera, and let's do the bow together. To do the bow, I'm going to be using this red color. It's Heartland. The reason why I'm doing it is because I want to make a Christmas bow. So I'm going to teach you how to do this using this yarn. So first you need to cast on 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I was just measuring out 6 stitches for my long tail cast on. Make a slip knot, and then you're ready to do the long tail cast on. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then rows 1 through 3 are the same, which is knit 3, 1. Oh, I split the yarn. Try again. 2, 3. And then with the yarn in front, you're going to slip 3. So purl wise, you're going to slip 1, 2, and 3. And this might seem familiar to you, and the reason why is because I use nearly the same method for my quick gloves and scarf pattern. You can see right here, which is for free pattern on my blog, and you can get that right here. So here is row 3. So again, knit 1, 2, 3, and then slip 1, 2, 3. Row 4 is our increase row, so we're going to knit to the last 4 stitches and then knit front back. So for this row, it's just going to be knitting 1, 2, and then I have my last 4 stitches. So I'm going to knit the front, but not take it off my needle, twist it so that I can then knit the back. And that gives us the increase we want. Then we're going to slip 3 with the yarn in front, like that. So that's row 4. Let's do that again together. So knit 3 rows until the last 3 stitches, and then slip 3. The reason why you're slipping these last 3 stitches with the yarn in front is because you're creating an I-cord along the edges, and it's kind of hard to see it the first few rows that you make, but as soon as you get into the pattern a bit more, you can really start to see the I-cord take shape, and it looks really nice and polished on the edges. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is my last, this is row 7 I'm on right now. So knit these until the last 3 and slip 1, 2, 3. So we have another increase row to do. So we need to knit until the last 4 stitches. One more. Here's my 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. So I'm going to knit this next stitch through the front and then leave it on my needle so that I can knit through the back as well. And slip 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do a few more rows like this, and then let's meet back up for the decrease row. I'm not going to do a full ribbon for showing you how to do the decrease, the slip knit pass, but I'll do enough so that you can see it easier. So let's meet back up on row 247. You can see the bow starting to take shape. You can see the nice I-cords, which look good on both sides. But let me show you how to do a slip knit pass, or an SKB. We'll be using that for the decreases when we get to that section. So let me show you. Once you get to the specified stitch, you're going to slip knitwise off your needle, knit 1, insert your needle into that slipped stitch, and pass it over like that. And that will be the decrease. Let me show you again on the next row. So once you get to the specified stitch in the pattern, you're going to slip knitwise, knit 1, take that slip stitch and pass it over the knit stitch you just did. And that is it. So let's talk about the faux center tie. The faux center tie is made very similarly to the bow we just made, but you just start casting on 8 stitches instead of 6 stitches, and then you just work straight. You're going to make a little rectangle, so there's no increases or decreases. So we're not going to do that on camera together, but let's do the assembly of the bow together. For the assembly of our bow, we're going to need a strand of yarn and a tapestry needle. Thread that through. And then you're going to want to measure 5.5 inches from the bottom of your bow. You can see I've already made my bow, so you can clearly see where I've done this. So anyway, you're going to put a stitch marker 5.5 inches from the bottom on both sides. You're going to take your tapestry needle, and then you're going to go up through one side, down, and then up through the other edge, and then back down. Pull it through a little bit. And then going on this side where the stitch marker is, you're going to go up and down, back up and down. And this doesn't need to be perfect. This is just creating our center, and then it's also making it fold and look like a cute little bow. So then you're going to rotate your work and you're going to go back the other direction doing the same thing. So going up and then back down, up, back down. Now onto the other side, go up, down, up, and down. So you can see if I give both ends a little tug, it's making the bow cinch in and creating cute little folds. So after you've done that portion, you can tie it off and weave in the ends. Make sure you arrange it so that it folds how you like it. All right, so I'm just going to leave the ends like that for right now. And then you're going to take the top portion and fold it down onto the little tails that you made. So you make sure that it's centered. You can measure it if you want, or you can eyeball it, whatever you're comfortable with. And then you're going to take a length of yarn and you're going to wrap it around the center part and around this cinched part that you did. So it will naturally do that. So you're just wrapping around, creating the top portion of the bow. And no one's going to see the back end of this, so you don't have to make it look cute. We can tie knots and that will be fine. Okay, so before you tie your final knot, you need to go to the front and make sure that it is laying how you want it to lay. Okay, I think that looks cute like that. Okay, now I'm going to tie an actual final knot. Here we go. We'll deal with the ends later. And now you're going to take your faux center tie that you made, and that's going to be placed around this string that you did so that we can clean it up and make it look nice. So taking a tapestry needle and then one of the ends of the faux center tie, you're going to whip stitch the other side of the bow on the center end. So just going through both, whip stitching it to close it off so that it is secure. Again, no one's going to see this, so this does not need to look pretty. It can look messy because it doesn't matter. It will be hidden behind the bow when we attach it to the sweater. Okay, there we go. Let's look at the front. Cute. Very cute. So that is how you make the bow for the front of the sweater. You're going to need to make 2 of them. So that is how you make the classy bow sweater. Hey friends, thanks for joining me on today's video. I have this video right here that I think you'll really enjoy. So go check it out and be sure to subscribe for more crochet and knit tutorials. My name is Rachel from Cozy Nooks Designs, and happy making!